And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the Geeking Out with. I'm your host, Big Nasty, aka Rich. This is your first time to the show. This is a show where, we're all comic book collectors and comic book enthusiasts and all that stuff. But we all also have other interests, and it can be comic book related, or it may not be comic book related. But yeah, this is a show where I just want to be able to let people let their little geek flag fly, and geek out about something. And like I said, it can be comic books, it can be books, it can be movies, it can be music, it can be whatever they want it to be. So this week's guest, everybody knows him, but I think everybody needs to sub him and get a sub count up higher. He's the artist of the fame little like one shots, I guess maybe you call them. I don't know. I have to ask him how you would phrase them. But I love mine. I know a lot of other people in the community have gotten theirs, and he's got a long list of victims that he's going to hit with. So it's an honor and a pleasure to introduce my good buddy, Adam of Up and Adam Comics. Hey, Adam.
Yo, yo. Hey, yo, as Chanko would like to say.
Yeah, yo, yeah. Hey, yo. But how you doing, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, hanging in there, man. It's been busy. Work is trying to beat me down,
Yeah.
But, got to get through it. And,
Right. Yeah, I tell you, it's
October.
Yes. It is. It is crazy that it's October 1st already, man. It's like, wow. Told the guys at work today, I was like, it's going to be Christmas before we know it. I said, we get through this month, people will be playing Christmas music. Typically like the day after Halloween, you start hearing Christmas music. So
yeah, that's a shame.
But what are we geeking out about today, Adam?
So my shirt kind of gives it away, but it's
a little bit.
It's Bernie Wrightson. So
right on, man.
It's very comic related in a lot of ways. But when I was thinking, when Rich hit me up, and I was like, I had a few different ideas. I mean, I have lots of interests, so you can invite me another time if you want, and I'll have other things. But
sure,
I was like,
sure.
We are starting October. It's some people like to say spooky season. Some people hate that phrase. I don't mind it, but the whole month of October, I was like, we gotta bring some creepiness to this month. So I was like, my big, in terms of art, like my master of the macabre or whatever you want to say would be Bernie Wrightson. So, so lots of stuff to talk about for that. So yeah, but kind of always. It's kind of funny. Interestingly, like I was familiar with Bernie Wrightson because I'd seen him in different things, but I didn't really like piece it all together that like I really knew who he was and that he was involved in all of these different things until much later. And so, but once I, fully discovered him, I kind of went down a rabbit hole and was trying to do, get as much as I could of his stuff. I've met him a few times.
Really? Wow.
Before he passed away.
Yeah.
He is from Baltimore. Like he lived most of his life in Baltimore. And while later in life he moved down to Texas, I believe, he was a fixture at Baltimore Comic-Con. And so he was somebody like you just wanted to be around him. You wanted to flip through the art that you couldn't afford, but you wanted to just see the stuff. And super nice guy. I think the last time he had brain cancer And one of the last show that he did in Baltimore, it was kind of crazy. So he was, as a typical con, they bring around food and stuff like that for the creators for lunches and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was sick, and he was sitting there back behind there and talking to his wife Liz, and he was just like, I am about to die here. He was like, where are these bastards? And that's what he was like, give me my food. And I was like, oh man, Bernie Wrightson's sitting here hungry. I was like, Bernie, can I go buy you some food? Like, I will go. And he's like, no, 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 I won't have that. I won't have that. And so, but I had like snacks in my bag, and so I just started pulling out snacks, and I was like, I'm gonna leave these here. You eat them. But then he had a pack of crackers that like opened up and started, but I was like, this dude's about to go down right here at the con. Like, come on. But yeah, such a nice guy. Always thankful to all of his fans, and just one of those artists that I've just always really loved. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So what you got stuff to show or?
Yeah. So what I thought I'd do, I'm going to jump around a bit to a lot of different formats of stuff.
Sure, man. Sure,
that I
yeah.
have of his. And kind of the first thing that I probably discovered his work was reading The Stand, because he did the art in The Stand, and get to this page where he's got, and this was one of those things, like, I didn't realize that he was doing the art in these things, but the art stuck with me. There was pages like this that I just remember, and I didn't know who the artist was. And Stephen King was a big fan of Bernie's and used him for various things. There's a lot of people.
I didn't know that he had done art in that book.
Yeah, and he, but it was one of those things, like, I wasn't really that familiar with him at that time, but Stephen King, of course, being into yeah, how did they believe? I just think they hadn't delivered it to him yet. So yeah, it is a bad luck. But I was like, well, I feel good for kind of saving him a little bit. But yeah, but this was kind of like Bernie. I mean, Stephen King had seen him in books like Eerie and Creepy, and doing those kind of magazines, and also in House of Mystery. And so he had seen some of his work, so he was a big fan of his early on, and so that's why he kind of hit him up to do some different things. So he did The Stand. He also Cycle of the Werewolf.
Okay.
Which is a really cool. I mean, you can definitely see like big time.
Oh yeah,
Bernie work, but all of his. This is an interesting book because it goes through all the different seasons, and every month is a little different. One thing I love about his art style is just the little cross hatching and detail, and it's a really like a tribute to some of the artists that he liked back in the 1800s that were doing that kind of stuff.
Do you know if they offer that artwork in any other format other than those books? Did they like compile them out of those books and put them in something else, like a sketchbook maybe or something? Or
they made some portfolios.
Okay.
You can buy some portfolios. They're expensive now because they did them for like a small print run. But like I've seen them occasionally, but you're talking $400 or something to get
wow.
6 prints of his work. But yeah, I did get him to sign my Cycle of the Werewolf.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
And then later on, he was also in The Dark Tower. Wolves of the Kala is the 5th book, and this is I bought this. This is this is like it's a hardcover that was put out by Donald M. Grant Publishers. And they put out, like, this has 3,500 copies they did as an artist edition, and so it's got
Okay.
him signed. He signed that as well. But it's
That's
all
cool.
these are hard to come by. Like you had to kind of pre-order it, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they're sold. um, and then another. This is another. This is kind of getting back to like some of his earlier work. But when he was doing a lot of stuff for Creepy and Eerie before that, but then they kind of branched off. And I've shown this before, I think, on your show one time. But
Yeah.
this came out last year. It was a web of horror. It's the complete web of horror. And if you're looking to get something from him, um, like if you're into like the horror magazines of the 70s, this is one of the best books that's probably ever been done. But it really has everybody on this: Terry Bisson, Marv Wolfman, Lynn Wein, Jerry Conway. It's got Frank Bruner, Jeff Jones, Mike Kaluta, Bruce Jones, just so many different great people in this. But they
Sweet.
were trying to, when Creepy and Eerie started going into reprints and started
Yeah.
reprinting a lot of material, they were like,
Yeah.
we want to do our own. And so they kind of broke off and did their own one. The fourth issue was never printed of this. It kind of closed down, and there's a big story about that where they went to try to go talk to the editor, and the offices were empty and their art was all gone and everything. And so many years later, they've pieced together some of the art from different warehouses and other things like that. And they have the fourth issue, as best as they could do, put into this book. So definitely these should still be available to order. You can find these online, but
Okay.
I recommend that. Let's see here. A couple of other things that I have. I have this, and I'm hoping to show some stuff like probably some people have never seen these, some of this stuff. But there's an old magazine called Comic Book Creator. They still put it out now, but this is the 7th issue, and it kind of really gives a whole story of his life. There's some interviews and things like that.
Okay.
Some of his art that's inside.
When was that published?
This is good question. It's been a hot minute. 2015.
Okay.
So it's a little hard to find because some of these are a little harder to find because they're like early issues.
Yeah.
They're not ordered heavily. And then, of course, you get like some of them are more popular than others based on the, who's featured on it. But if they have I have a few other comic book creator books, and if there's somebody that you like, either a writer or artist, they really do a great job of compiling all this stuff. So this is.
I think I've seen those at one of my LCSs, but I haven't seen the Bernie Wrightson one.
Yeah, from 2015. But I think Tomorrow's, I think, is the publisher, I think now, which is tied to Rob Thomas. So I'm not Rob Thomas. Yeah, Matchbox 20 is putting.
Yeah, Matchbox 20 is behind this. Roy Thomas. Yeah, Roy Thomas. Yeah.
That's like, but one of the things, like early on when I was growing up, like I didn't realize that he did was getting Marvel graphic novels, the old school ones.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He did the Hulk and the Thing,
man,
which it just has great like.
Yeah, I got to get that
Creepy art.
Yeah, I got to get that.
And to have the Hulk and the Thing just really duking it out, and it's a great Hulk and Thing composite thing.
It's a monster book, man. It's
they call him that guy the composite Banger McCrusher. So they're fighting Banger McCrusher on this. But this was one of those things like I saw, and I was I didn't know that was him at the time. And the next one, this one was really wild. Is Hooky? I don't know if you ever.
Yeah, I have to get that one too, man. That
Hooky. I mean, look at the.
Yeah.
Like the spread.
That is freaking. I'd like to have a poster of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it just has like just the craziest stuff. Like his
Oh, I love it,
imagination.
man. God, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's just like a pile of goop, but it's a cool pile of goop.
Yeah, good pile of goop.
But yeah, I remember seeing this and I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. Like, this is crazy. But was really good. But one of those things, like I was introduced to him. Hey, thanks for the compliments on the shirt. I'll talk
Yeah,
a little bit about how I got that in just a minute. And then, of course, this is another thing involved with Stephen King, was they produced this Creepshow magazine that is basically like a comic book graphic novel
right.
that goes along with the movie.
Yeah, I
But
love the movie, by the way. Yeah.
yeah, but they basically asked, Stephen King asked Bernie Wrightson to do this whole thing because he wanted something like the kid reading this thing while he's on the bed and this
Yeah.
creepy monster's in the back. So, but yeah, you can find different editions. They still I think they just reprinted this recently, for comic shops, but definitely something you can pick up pretty easily. Now, how I got this shirt. One thing that there was a Kickstarter, and there's a studio that's called Nakatomi Inc. So it ties in with Die Hard and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But Nakatomi Inc. They work with Liz Wrightson, his wife, that basically to produce prints and other things. I got one other thing I need to bring up here. They bring prints and different things, and all the money that is made from the sale of these things goes to his wife.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty cool. But
Yeah,
they had a Kickstarter, and it was for puzzles. And so I got two of the puzzles.
Work? Oh man.
So there's a puzzle. Now the thing that he's like most
that is
famous
badass,
for
dude.
is basically what part of the shirt is.
Part of the shirt, yeah.
It is Frankenstein, and
I love his Frankenstein, dude.
He spent a couple of years working on the illustrations for Frankenstein.
That is so badass, man.
And I have the big print of this, which I also got from Nakatomi. They do some limited run prints that they do on their website. And I got the big print of that I have hanging up over my desk at work that I can just get lost in every day. But they did a couple of puzzles. The other one they did was the one with the dragon and the woman that's naked in front of a pond. Famous one of his. I've done that puzzle. I haven't done this one. It's still in the wrap.
So I'd have a hard time. I want that, but I'd have a hard time doing that puzzle myself, man.
It's 1,000 pieces. So, and with all that detail and just black and white, it's not going to be easy, but it'll be cool when I get some time to do it.
Oh, I would definitely hodgepodge it, like glue it on a board or something, man, after I did it for sure, and then frame it.
Absolutely. But yeah, they have this thing with a Kickstarter with two of the puzzles, and then I think it was like really cheap to add this shirt onto it. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a winner.
It's no brainer there, man.
No brainer. Moving on, I have some other stuff. So I have a little stack of comics here. First, to talk about, he has some rookie cards. I would call it, like some first works and some different things. And this I would call, like, this is his first published work for DC.
Oh, cool.
And it's House of Mystery 179.
179.
Yeah, and so that's kind of his first printed work for DC.
A cover or cover and interior?
He did the cover for this one.
Cover this one? Okay.
So that one says like rookie card. And then for Marvel, which I think Stepo was on, like saying, hey, what is the significance of this book? And I was like, oh, it's a rookie card for Wrightson at Marvel. So this is his first work for Marvel. And so he was doing some stuff for DC and Marvel. Sometimes, like House of Mystery, there's several ones where he's done the covers only. There's some where he's done, like House of Mystery is a little bit of a anthology in a way. So there might be like an 8-page story or something like that he did in those. So he kind of filters in and out through that series. But that was kind of a steady paycheck that he was getting. And he was doing some of that stuff while, like, to get a steady paycheck to help him do Frankenstein. So that was kind of his goal. He's like, well, I can do like a cover or a little big splash page inside of a creepy, and I could do that. He's like, I can knock that out in a few days, and then I got the rest of the month to live poorly, but to work on my Frankenstein work. So that was kind of something that he did, but that was pretty cool idea. Another thing, this is kind of interesting. Do you know Captain Stern?
Yes, I have that. Yeah, I love that, man. That is awesome.
Captain Stern, actually, he did a bunch of issues of heavy metal in the 70s and featured Captain Stern. And he's just an interesting character. It's just kind of fun. It's like one of those fun kind of sci-fi silly stuff that he liked to do too. And so this is a 6-issue series. They're all Captain Stern. They're not that easy to find. I feel like maybe not all people were buying them. I'm not sure, but they're different. I mean, it's kind of like, he's known for his horror and that kind of thing, but these are just kind of like fun creations.
Goofy fun, yeah. I've had mine for a little while. I don't even remember where I got them from. Where I've had them for so long. But, I love them, man. Because I loved that was in the movie. They the heavy metal movie.
Yes,
I always felt like that. That he deserved his own movie by himself. The Captain Stern character. I thought it was something that they didn't explore enough. Because that was one of my favorite segments out of that movie was the Captain Stern segment.
Right, and it's kind of but it has its own fan base. Like you said, that's something that you really enjoyed out of that part of that movie. And I would agree, it's probably one of the best done pieces in that heavy metal movie. But some people just love that Captain Stern stuff. So somebody just see that pop up on.
Like you said, you can't find. I know I've been looking for some of the other books, and I haven't come across them in a long time.
Yeah.
Without buying them online or something like that. But I don't. Yeah, it's one of those books I want to find in the wild.
Yeah, I had there's a store that I go to occasionally that's a few hours away. That they tend to have all the stuff that they're like run fillers and stuff nobody thinks about collecting. I guess all the other good stuff's gone, but I find stuff like that there all the time, like these weird publishers and stuff like that. But
awesome. Yeah.
And then, so after he did Frankenstein, it was a while later that he came up with like a sequel that was written by Steve Niles, and he did the art for it. And this is Frankenstein Alive, and this was a 4-issue series, but it has all Bernie art in it except for the last issue. So Bernie died before the thing fully got put out, and on this one, on the last issue, Kelly Jones took over. So Kelly Jones is kind of one of those guys. His art is so much like Bernie Wrightson's. And he loves him to death, and they were good friends, and so it was kind of good for him to pick up on that. But yeah, this was one I got Bernie to sign for me too. So
that's nice.
We're talking about House of Mystery a little bit. So this is a pretty famous House of Mystery. Was this 170 or 195? This also has a prototype for Swamp Thing in it. Wow. So this one sometimes can get a little pricey, but just a great, it's it's a man, but the bat is just all over him.
Over his back.
Things are not looking good for him. and Bat Out of Hell, which is just kind of like, Meatloaf or whatever.
You're definitely FOMO me on some of these books because I haven't seen some of these, a couple of these.
And this is 236, which I think is really cool. It's just a good, like, creepy, drippy skeleton.
Yeah.
One of my favorite covers. Yeah, I love this cover. Cool. Yeah, just the creepiness, just the dripping water is really cool.
He had such a style, man. You could just tell when he's one of those artists, if you're looking through stuff and you're like, oh, that's a Wrightson.
Yeah, you know it right away.
Yeah.
And here's another one that's 256. I always love the way he does pumpkins.
Yeah, I've got that one. That one's neat. Yeah, I like that.
So that one's 256.
Cool.
And then this was like hard to find too. This was House of Mystery. They did a volume 2 for Vertigo, and this was a 1 in 10 cover. That's Bernie Wrightson with a werewolf running off with a woman there.
Wow. Now that has to be like 90s or mid 90s or something. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this is well, actually 2008.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's even later.
Yeah.
I was going to say you could tell because there's you can tell it's Bernie Wrightson, but it's a little bit how, you tend to lose a little bit of your style or it changes a little bit.
Like some of his later stuff, like I didn't bring some of his later stuff because it's like Punisher POV, which a lot of people don't like because it's weird. There's some other things that he did that were like for IDW or other studios, like Ghoul, Dead, She Said, some different things like that that don't. I don't think they really showcase like his art as well as it could. So,
yeah.
And then here's a House of Secrets. This is 96, and I just love that cover. I love the way those ghouls are kind of coming out of the mirror there.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, just really cool. I love that one. The coloring in it is great. He did, some stuff. Sorry, this bag is wrinkly. I need to get this replaced. Hulk 197 got a little Man Thing. He didn't draw Man Thing very often. He's known for Swamp Thing, but here's Man Thing fighting Hulk with the Collector in the background. So that one's kind of cool. This is also very rare, but kind of has some ties. Stephen King's son is Joe Hill, that's also an author, and he did Lock and Key. And so Joe Hill, because his dad knew him, reached out to Bernie and did that. This is kind of a really rare cover, but for Lock and Key, he did a cover, which Lock and Key is one of my favorite indie series ever. Just love that series. But this is a later one done, but he really put a lot into it, which you can tell.
Yeah.
And then next I got Secrets of Haunted House #5. As I said, I love his pumpkins.
Yeah.
And I was stupid enough trying to find this book a few years ago in October, because you're not going to be able to find it online anywhere. Everybody's already got it, or they're, it's costing way too much. But I was like,
right.
Dad, I need it. So
you definitely got to wait till November to buy the Halloween books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also a rare one. Now, Stephen King wrote a comic with Scott Snyder called American Vampire. And this was back in 2010. This is #2, but this is a variant that Bernie Wrightson did for that. Whoops, let me try to get some glare off of that.
Wow.
But yeah, this one is like a ghost. It is so hard to find this cover, because I think
I've never even heard of that. American Vampire.
It was like a 1 in 10, and not many people were picking up American Vampire. And
you published that. Does that say Scott Snyder's top?
Yeah, this is Vertigo. Yeah, Scott
Vertigo.
Snyder.
Okay.
And Raphael Albuquerque did the art inside. But Stephen King and Scott Snyder kind of wrote it together, at least for the first like 6 issues or something, and then Scott Snyder did it all on his own.
Must have had a real low print run then, because I don't think I've ever seen that before.
This is one of the coolest, in my opinion, Bernie
Which
Wrightson
one?
books, Treehouse of Horror. Do you have this?
No, I don't, man.
Um,
I haven't even seen it.
yeah. So what's great about this? You got stories here. You got Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan working together, and then you
Oh,
got Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson who did Swamp Thing together.
yeah.
And then it's got John Severin, Angelo Torrenson, Al Williamson. But the coolest thing that they
Are they
do,
doing
the
Simpsons?
story that they do for The Simpsons. Let me get to the beginning of it here. Um, it kind of starts off where there's this like swamp creature drinking
Yeah,
too much Duff beer.
yeah.
Uh, he
Drinking
becomes the squish thing.
this squish thing. Look at him.
So this is Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson doing Simpsons, and Homer is the squish thing.
That's
So
awesome, dude.
totally awesome. Definitely a good one to pick up. Another one of my favorite DC characters, the Spectre.
Yes.
He did this cover number 58, I think it is. Yeah, 58 of the Spectre. Was this volume 3, I think technically.
Yeah. Genesis. Yeah.
Cool cemeteries. Now, Rich, you will really appreciate this book because it's one of those just like so weird, and it's so
The weird.
Apple Comics put out a lot of really weird stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this one is Death Dreams of Dracula. But the funny thing, it says cocaine, Dracula goes snowblind.
I love it.
It's like this
Yes.
vampire that's done a bunch of cocaine on
That
it.
is great. Yeah. You might as well. You're already dead. So
I know, like keep on going,
yeah.
But yeah, he did some stuff for them, which is weird. Like, you think, but some of these artists, like, they switched around to these weird companies because they were tired of dealing with the big two. So they reprinted a bunch of in these. They printed some in, I don't know if it was Death Dreams or Dracula, or there was another one that was called like Big Dreams of Dracula or something like that, that had they reprinted, or they printed some of the lost pages of Frankenstein, so the other pieces that he was working on that didn't make the book. So they're kind of fun. They're like, a few of them are printed in some of the back.
Did he do that whole book then? The interiors and everything?
No, this is just a cover.
Okay.
That you decided to do for him. I don't know. And then, but then there's some other stuff that has some of his stuff printed.
Okay. That's awesome, dude. I love it.
Yeah. So one of those weird books is like, you got to pick it up just because it's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's a big one, of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
a big burrito. Yep.
That is a big burrito.
Yeah.
But that was one this one was, of course, one of the books that everybody wants to get of his, not just for the beginning of Swamp Thing, but everything else. But Bernie cover, of course, everybody knows this is Louise Jones, who's now Louise Simonson, that she kind of modeled, brushing her hair, that he drew off of that. So one thing that's kind of crazy is a lot of people, he lived in New York City and lived in this place called the Studio, with Mike Kaluta, Jeff Jones, who was Louise Jones's husband at the time, and they lived in the studio, did art all the time. But right down the hall was Walt Simonson, and also just a lot of that New York artists that are there. And so and I'm trying to think of the other big guy, because he did this thing in the back here. Sorry. Al Milgram. Yeah, Al Milgram was one of those that lived right down there. So, and there was a story, Al Milgram, and I've heard Walt Simonson tell me this too, but one time Bernie was getting ready to throw away a whole bunch of his art, and he was like, I'm just putting all this stuff in the dumpster. If you want anything, you come up and get it. and Al
Wow.
Milgrom and Walt Simonson busted in there, and they're just like, grabbing anything that they could. So they have a lot of heart because of that.
I could
but
not
here's
imagine.
another,
Yes.
continuing on. We got Lyle's asking if Bernie did any Charlton covers. He did not do any Charlton covers.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing, number one. This one's beat up, but it is signed. It's hard to see, but I got it signed by Bernie Wrights at number 3. I
Nice.
didn't have a 1 at that time. This is a pretty classic one because it's Swamp Thing and Batman and some of the such a great. And if you're trying to get into some Bernie Wrights and stuff, the first 10 issues of Swamp Thing is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And this is number 9. I have
my favorite. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite.
Yeah, this is a great one. And then some other things I got a little sketchbook that he did.
Oh, wow.
I just love it. It's look out, he's got an axe. And that is kind of like trying to be him back in the day. But, just a sketchbook of a bunch of his art.
Now, with you meeting him several times, I mean, what kind of, I've seen, I never had the pleasure of meeting him or anything, but what kind of, person was he? Because when you look at his body of work and the style that he had, he would always, he sometimes there's that kind of artwork, not to, talk bad about anybody at all, but sometimes they can be maybe a little weird or a little off. How was he just as normal as could be, or
he was just like a sweetheart. Like he was humble and very quiet and just appreciative of people. He really didn't have an attitude at all. Like he was just it was kind of funny. One of the times, I'm not sure if you know Terry Moore. Terry Moore, he's probably best known for like Strangers in Paradise, but a great book that's horror related is Rachel Rising. That's amazing. The first issue is a complete silent issue. It's just like this undead girl, walking back and knocking on somebody's door, that she knows. But I was standing with Terry Moore looking through a whole bunch of Bernie art, and Terry Moore actually bought one. And so he was like, this is a dream come true for me. I have a piece of Bernie Wrights and art. He's like, this is my life dream. I'm having it right now. So he was talking to me about that. And then I ended up going to lunch with Terry Moore. We were just continuing the conversation and had lunch together, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he was just like super, super nice. He'd sign whatever you want, never charged a dime for any of that. And things like that. Now, I was stupid back then, early on in cons. I never thought to ask him, like, could you do a sketch for me? Or,
a remark or something. Yeah.
But now I might have shown this to you before, but this was a Kickstarter that was done. This is a tribute book that's artwork that was all done in honor of Bernie. And it also includes, like I talked about, Al Milgrom. Al Milgrom put up some of the original art in the back that he owns. Like he contributed. So you actually get to see some of the stuff that like nobody ever else has. But a lot of it is just people that have, just drawn things. And they have a lot of, like I know a lot of people know Francesco Francavilla. Like that's his piece. So I have been taking this around to cons and getting people to sign it if they're there and they contributed something to it. Just kind of a neat thing to do. A couple of people drawn some little doodle sketches in it too, but and it also gives you something kind of to talk about. And
that's pretty neat, but that's a hefty book to be packing around.
Yeah, it's one of those like you do it, check off the list, then run back to the hotel and put it away, right? But this is one of the pieces that's in it, and I got this print from Ed Ergel, if anybody knows Ed Ergel. So there's a pretty famous painting where somebody's kind of like walking by, and and this guy is trying to say something to this girl, and he's all on the ground, and she's got an axe, and it's like he tried to do like a 5 second later, like she buried the axe in his head and just keeps walking on. So he did that. He was honored to have that.
That's cool.
And then this one is really cool. This is Tony Harris, if you know Tony Harris. But this is one of the pieces that's in it, and it was kind of funny. This is kind of the style of the Bernie Wrights and Frankenstein with the, like,
the nose,
no nose and that type of thing. It's got Bernie underneath it. But one thing that was funny was I went to Tony Harris's table, and only his wife was there at the time, and I was like, "Does he have any of those prints left?" And she's like, "Yes, he only has one." And I was like, "Okay, well, I want it." And she's like, "Yeah, and there's none back at our house. This is it." And so I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "All right, I want that." I was like, "Can he, just put it to me or something like that?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." And she's like, "Just come back. He's in a panel." And so I came back a little later, and he wasn't there again. And she's like, "He screwed up." She's like, "He thought your name was Kevin." And so he started to write, he put a K on it. And then he was like, "Oh man, his name is Adam. It's not Kevin." And so, so he felt really bad. So he's like, do you still want it? You can just have it. And I was like, "Well, why don't you just take that K and make it into Frankenstein?" And so he just wrote Frankenstein on the bottom of it. And then
man.
And then he signed it for me. So
my God,
he was so embarrassed by it, but he was like, "That was a great solution." And I was like, "There you go." But yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
It's kind of funny, but this is amazing. They had the original piece for this for sale, but yeah, thousands.
I'd have had to have him like say, "Hey man, can you write the last one?" Since it was his last copy.
Yeah.
Like, can you write the last one or
last one?
Yeah.
I mean, now who knows? It could have been lying, and I'm just a
right.
sucker. I don't know.
Right.
But
yeah, it's still cool. That's badass. Yeah, having put Frankenstein on there instead of
And then a couple of other pieces. We're doing all right on time. Let's see. We got Freak Show was a little book that was put out with Bruce Jones. I told you that he lived with him, and so Image produced this full story. So you got this. Eric saying, "That's awesome, Kevin."
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he did have some collected versions that were done that took. He did some things that were just like in magazines and in various magazines or also zines that were put out, like horror zines, and they these underground zines that would come out and they'd put like a picture of his or 2-page story or something like that. So Reaper of Love collects a lot of that kind of stuff. Like this is I think this is a cover. This is a story from Out on a Limb.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was from Fantagraphics. So Fantagraphics always puts out good stuff, good quality stuff. But this has just a collection of a whole bunch of stories and single prints and things like that.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I like
it. And then I was going to bring a bunch of I have all the creepy and eeries and all that kind of stuff in there. But this book was produced by Dark Horse. Now, interestingly enough, when I have it signed as well by Bernie at the top. But when I brought him this, he was like, "I didn't get any money for that." So, some of these companies screw these people over. So I kind of felt, I was like, "Well, you don't have to sign it if you don't want to." He's like, "No, that's okay." He's like, I haven't really looked at this very well. So he's like, "Let me see what they put in it." So he wanted to see it, but
I'd have felt bad too. Like, well, you don't have to sign that. That's shitty as all get out.
Yeah, but this has this has all like the stories, like Black Cat.
That's cool, man.
Jennifer, which is one of his. That's right here. That's one of his famous. See if I can get to the last. Yeah, Jennifer. It's one of his famous stories that was put into an issue of Creepy.
Yeah.
But then at the back of this, so as I mentioned, which I think I told I told you and Chanko about this before, but
Yeah.
in issue number 9 of Creepy, he actually, this is his very first printed work, was in Creepy number 9. He wrote
Okay.
like a fan letter and included this
Yeah.
little art piece in there. And so
Oh,
that's
wow.
his actually first published work, was in
Okay.
Creepy number 9. But that's in this book as well, along with covers. And then one of the things that he did a lot were these frontispieces, which were at the very beginning of all the Creepy and eerie. So, like I said, he
Yeah.
was doing these. It would take him a couple of days to do them, and then he'd
Man, those are so cool.
I know, live off of that. And then here's a good like little, he like doing some Santa Claus creepy.
Santa, yeah. Man, that is awesome.
So so that's a good, and these, I think it's out of print, but you can find them. They're out there. But it's a good, if you don't want to collect all the magazines and be stupid like I was. That's another Kickstarter that came out was the card series. So I have a full set of all the cards, but they this FPG, I think it was the company that put them out. The FPG years. So they did some various card series, and I remember seeing these at comic shops. They did them for Mike Plug, they did them for Frank Frazetta, they did them for Bernie Wrightson, and they produced these trading cards. And they actually did 2 series of these. They did 2 series for Mike Plug, and they did 2 series for Bernie Wrightson. And it's all
Can you
original.
imagine finding those? Man,
You
find like
can,
an open box.
You can still find the cards. Like they're out there.
Well, I'm talking about like the whole box. Get the whole a whole box, an open box of them or something.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did for one of them. I did for the
really?
set 2. I bought a box I found for pretty cheap on eBay.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I bought them all. And they had they have some rares that are like metal, and they have some that are signed. Like I have a signed card of one.
Did you open them up? Did you open them all up then?
Oh heck yeah, yeah, yeah. I got some extras I can send to you too.
Awesome.
But these this book reproduced all the cards, but in the full glory of them. But this is all like original, original art that he did just for this card series. So they paid him.
Man, that's so cool.
And that's kind of the way Mike Plug's was too. Is a bunch of just original art, just for these sets. So just a lot of cool, creepy stuff.
That is so. Love that, man.
Ooh, Jason's asking if there was a particular inker. Oh gosh, that's a good question. He did a lot of inking himself. I know, because a lot of his stuff he did black and white. I know what's interesting. I have seen him ink others in a lot of different ways. Like there's some. I have something that's like Neil Adams drew it, but Bernie Wrightson did the inking on it, and there's a few things like that. That's I don't really have a good answer for that. I know even Mike Plug did some inking on some Wrightson stuff, but I would say I'd have to go back and look, but some of the stuff from like that House of Mystery, House of Secrets kind of work seemed to bring his art, and Swamp Thing tended to bring out, I think his best work. But I don't think like some of the stuff that was done later was really, So like Swamp Thing is all just Bernie doing pencils and inks, and they had, he might have even colored it because they list nobody but Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson on this. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
but he did a lot of his own. And I don't know if that's a trust issue or if it's just the way that he worked. I think it's probably more the way that he worked because with all that hatching and stuff like that.
Yeah, his style, man. I couldn't imagine someone else trying to go in there and inking his pencils.
Yeah,
It'd be.
you'd probably hate yourself if you did
that
too much. So I mean, he mostly did a lot of that himself. But I'm trying to think of some cases, and nothing's really sticking out in my mind except for maybe Mike Plug that I can remember that he did it. But he kind of, it's kind of like, why would you mess with what he's done? But anyway, I have one other thing to show.
Okay. So you running away? Yeah.
All right, I lied, and I have two other things. So one of the things is this Monsters coloring book, Color the Creature book.
Wow.
So he put out this coloring book in the 70s, and they reproduced this. Also, I think I told you through Nakatomi. But you could get this version, which I did, which is the big 11 by 17.
Wow. Man, that is so bad.
Can you imagine as a kid, like, coloring in this stuff?
Yeah. Like, my parents would have been like, what the heck are you looking at?
But you also, like, why would you even color that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just looks so good. But this version is printed on really nice, like comic art board version of it. So I wanted to get this, but it was kind of stupid. Like the people it was Nakatomi that did the Kickstarter for it, but it was like, they're like, if you want to color it and send us in your coloring, we'll post some stuff. I'm like, who's the idiot that's going to?
What other sizes did they offer on that?
They had a smaller, like 8.5 by 11 version of it, but this was the original way it was put out, was 11 by 17.
Oh, really? Okay. I was gonna say I would have bought one like that, and then I would have bought the smaller one, and then I would have actually colored it.
Yeah. But I was like, who would do that? So
yeah, not on the bigger one, but yeah.
And I promise this is the last thing, but this is I got the big Artifact edition.
Yeah, that is
through
awesome,
IDW. Dude. I don't own. This is the only IDW thing I own. That's cool, of these artist editions. But just to see, the original work.
I got to get that, man.
These, so luckily, like IDW was having a sale, like they found boxes of stuff and they were having a big sale, but you got like original Swamp Thing.
Man, that is so,
pages in here.
I love those kind of books like that. I have a big one of Silver Surfer, John Buscema.
Oh, yeah. That would be the other one I'd want. But yeah, you also have these like big pull out.
Oh, look at that Batman.
Things.
Yeah, that is so sweet. Dude. That is sick, man.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of, there's Swampy and Crypto. Aren't they cute?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is a book like you can just get lost. If you're an appreciator of art, like you're gonna enjoy seeing some of this. But as I was saying, like IDW found like a whole bunch of warehouse stuff, and they like, oh man, I gotta go back to this. This is from Swamp Thing 4. But that was like the big splash page in that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's so freaking awesome.
That is, man.
But the they found like boxes of these, and they're like, hey, and we have half off of everything. So I was
Wow.
like, oh.
I
And
think I would have probably went in debt on that day.
yeah. So this was this isn't the first edition. Like they've put out a couple of editions of this book, but this, I was, I don't care what cover it is, I'll go for it. So yeah,
Yeah, man. But
yeah,
oh man, that was very, very entertaining, Adam. Thank you, man. That was awesome, dude. That's we are pushing our hour. That's where I like to kind of keep it, but not to wrangle anybody in. But yeah, that's have to have you back some other time, show off some other stuff. Do a geek out on some other things. But
yeah,
yeah, Bernie
absolutely.
Wrightson, man, you definitely FOMO me on a few things there. I'd seen some stuff, but a lot of that stuff that like from Nakayama and different things like that. That's the stuff, man. That's that special stuff that you don't really come across too often unless you do order it special through somebody and all that. And
Right.
you're the guy, man, that's on top of that. It's awesome. That's why I love seeing what you got, because you always have some of that cool stuff like that I never
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
even heard of or come across before. So
I'm an enabler. It's okay. I'm fine with it.
but yeah, that was
Jason was asking if you had any homework for this episode. I don't think I gave you any homework.
no, yeah, no homework. I've been lucky. I haven't any homework the last couple episodes, but always welcome it. It's all right.
Yeah, Jason's going to have you like submerge one of your comics in water and then tell him about it. He's going to totally destroy something right now. Eric's taking a cigarette. He feels satisfied. So I'm glad that people
good.
enjoyed that. So, but
Yeah,
just stuff I've always enjoyed, and yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's I want to thanks to the chat, man. Thanks everybody that stopped in and said hi and was chatting it up, asking questions, and taking part in this geeking out session. Thanks to Adam. Thank you, buddy, for coming and hanging out for this Wednesday little half week hangout. However you
Anytime
want
to
to
see
call
my
it.
side piece.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Yeah, no doubt. Us side pieces have got to stick together, man. We but yeah, again, thanks to the chat. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next week. Not sure exactly who my guest is. That's still secret, I guess, or not really a secret, just up in the air. You got
Secret
a
to
few
you.
yeah, secret to me, right? But yeah, this has been fun. This is exactly what I was hoping these episodes, these shows would be. Is to get to do a little deep dive on other people's interests and showcase that a little bit, and just take an hour out of the week and talk and hang out and see what everybody's doing and stuff. But anyway, get off here, keep rambling on. But again, man, thanks again, everybody, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.